I want to see your hands. But hopefully you guys realized last night when we were on the flow that we have brought back the birthday cake tincture, new and improved. It is back in stock right now for you guys to get. I know we've heard you, but newly enhanced birthday cake in stock now. Get it while it lasts, right? All right, so before we go into anything further, I just want to give my girl Dawn a huge shout out. She is a phenomenal rock star here with Arieyl and a staple, I would say. Dawn, can you tell us who you are, where you're from? You know what? I didn't prep you for this, but why Arieyl?
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, first I'm Dawn. And now I'm like taken back. I'm like, shoot. Okay. Why Arieyl? It was just the time of my life. It was just it literally just presented itself when I needed it. And the community, I mean, literally it's the culture for me. It's like unlike anything I've ever had in my life. It's like literally all the kind of friendships and the people that I wanted in my life, I prayed for, I have now. That's really what it came down to. And the products work.
Absolutely. You know, Maya was on the flow last night with me and very similar, like the community here is just incredible. Like we don't pay you guys to say these things. It is incredible. So if you're feeling a little bit outside, like you're not in the community, the only person that can change that is you. Find someone to run with, to partner with, you know, get to know people, rub shoulders, send a message to some of the leaders and just let them know who you are. You know, when I first started in network marketing, I reached out to who now are the #1 income earners at my previous company. And I said, you don't know who I am, but you will. And so I set that declaration, I made it and I did it. And actually the first event that I went to that they were there at, we stayed at the same hotel. And most of the leaders went to this leadership retreat and they stayed back because they had their kids. And they were like, Danielle? And I'm like, wait, what? And so saying that to them made them remember who the F I was. And sometimes we need to remember who the F we are. So that brings us in to today's conversation. So Dawn wants to talk about your brand and sticking to your niche. Okay. So something happened about a week ago, right? And you decided to kind of relook at a few things. Can you tell us about that epiphany and why exactly you wanted to speak on this topic?
Yeah. So also I just want to comment on what you said. So when I got into this business, like I'm a very you're going to know me kind of person. I just put myself everywhere. So everybody just sees me and knows me. People aren't going to know who you are if you're not even in conversations. You're not making any comments anywhere. Like, how are we supposed to know who you are? So don't be afraid to just talk to people. So about a week ago, I'm human. I have depression and anxiety that I battle with. Okay. And I had a day where I was all up in my head trying to hustle and be this person for months that I felt like I kept just hitting this wall. Like y'all just feel like you're doing the things, but you just keep hitting the wall. And that's where I was. And I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe this isn't what and I just went through a crisis where I literally just sat down with my journal and I put on some music, I put my phone away and I wrote down like, what do I actually want? What, not just with like the business, but like in life. And this is like a really hard question to ask, I feel like, because most of us are programmed to kind of just do the things, there's certain things, certain goals that we're supposed to hit. Or maybe your upline is like, you need to be diamond, you need to be black diamond with me or whatever. And so you've got this like pressure to be something that maybe you're not supposed to be, or maybe that speed that person above you is going or that sideline is doing, maybe that's not your speed, and that's okay. You have to figure out who you are. So I sat down and I'm like, well, what makes me me? And this was a hard thing for me to do because if you're anything like me, finding your strengths is actually really difficult. You only are going to think about all the weaknesses. So I actually went into the inbox of like 6 of my closest friends and I said, I need you to be really honest with me and tell me what my superpowers are. What are my strengths? I'm going to take whatever you give me and then give me what you think I should work on, not just in my business, but in life, like as a person. And I took all that criticism and beautiful things that people said about me, and I wrote that down because I'm like, that makes me me. So I started getting really, really specific with myself, my authenticity. Like, this is what makes me me. Now I'm going to build all my content around it. So like, I think I'm jumping ahead, but I went into like my TikTok, for example, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do weight loss because I've lost almost 60 pounds and it's all natural and it's all because of the products and correcting my gut and my mindset and all of that. And so why am I not using that as my power to talk to people and help people? Instead, I was trying to recreate what someone else was doing because, well, she's at the top, so she must know how to do it. Well, yeah, she does her way, her network, her, like I can't compare myself to Danielle or Nicole or Skylar or Darylyn because they're not me and they're not you. So you have to figure out what makes you you, because I guarantee you guys, people can smell fake all over social media, especially nowadays with network marketing. Like, you have to be you to do this. You just have to be you because people will smell the fake. If you're just copying and pasting everybody's messages that you've seen everywhere else, I can always spot when somebody just used to copy and paste like somebody else's thing because it's just not their words. And I find when I do my most vulnerable posts and it comes from my story and my heart, that's when I get the most engagement and the most people in my inbox. So really that's what it came down for me is just like honing in on myself and what I want and not swaying from it, not getting guilty if I didn't do what that person did or whatever. It's like, stop comparing. We're comparing apples to oranges, really. We're all so uniquely different, and yet we're always trying to be the other person. We're always comparing, and we're always like, well, they have it, so I want it. It's like, but you can't have their blessings. You can only have yours. So hopefully that answers a little bit.
And I really love that. So I have this love-hate relationship with the fake it till you make it mentality. It's ridiculous in one manner, but it's needed in another manner. So when I say that to my teams or to anyone, I don't mean it in a way like fake who you are. Like, don't fake your authenticity. Don't fake who you are. Don't fake what you're good at. But what you can do is just claim things that you haven't quite yet hit. So yes. Like sending your upline or someone a message that says, you don't know who I am, but you will. Like those type of things. Or you know what, there's this XYZ bonus and I'm going to go get it. And then find somebody that has earned it and ask them how they did it. Most of the time we don't even know. Like, I can't tell you exactly what I did to get where I'm at, but I was me, and I would take pieces of other people that I inspired to become. Okay. Yeah. So we all have our shit, right? We have our baggage, and what you're seeing on social media is usually their highlight reel. We have done something quite different here where a lot of us are really sharing our, the things that have hurt us, the things that have really held us back and held us down. And that authenticity goes a really long way. So, whether you have been physically, emotionally, sexually abused, whether there are people out there that need to hear your story. Yeah. Maybe you can't share that story yet publicly, but maybe if you see someone else sharing that story, you can privately have a conversation with them. Maybe you lost your house. Maybe you lost a loved one. Like, we have been created in a way to help each other and to be there for each other. And as much as we utilize and love social media, it can have a really negative impact on your communication skills, because you're pretending to be someone or something that you're not. But it can also be such a huge blessing if you use it in the right way. Just as a brick can be a weapon, it also can build your house. So you just have to start thinking about, like Dawn said, what do you want? What are you here for? What are you doing? Who do you see that inspires you? But remember, they've got baggage and they've got stuff. And don't try to be a little mini that person. That's not you. Take the pieces of them that inspire you. Or let's say you have an awful leader. Let's say you have been burned by a boss at your company that you're trying to leave, or maybe your parents or your spouse weren't there for you. Maybe you've been abandoned by your parents, or maybe they just weren't good parents, or maybe your spouse hasn't been there for you. I take all of those things in your life and strive to be a better version of that for other people. So if you've had yes, please.
I totally have to say this. So this kind of leads in with that. So I heard this on a TikTok because I'm obsessed with TikTok, but somebody said Matthew McConaughey was this was a podcast. It was a podcast. Matthew McConaughey was asked one time, who is your role model? Like, who do you look up to? And he said, it's me in 10 years. Because he was like, that's me. I want to be the best version of me. And then 10 years later, they remembered and they asked him again, well, who's your role model? And he said, it's me in 10 years. It's a constant, like, I'm the best version of me. I'm going to look up to people and get inspiration, but I'm my own role model.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. I don't know. I just had to share that with you.
That is incredible. That's amazing. Just strive to be a better version of yourself and figure out, take those moments, make your war room, sit in your closet. I don't care if you put blankets down in your bathtub and you chill in there. Like, actually, I think that's a great idea. Go find some space and work on you. It's okay. These self-development, or even in like times where you can self-reflect, are really, really important. Grab your journal. So basically Dawn sat back and she just kind of wrote to herself what she wanted to do with her life, with her business, who she inspired to be. So how, and I know you started going into this a little bit, but how are you using those things that you wrote down to better your business? Like, what, I know you said you really focused on like weight loss.
Yeah.
Anything more that you can give with that?
For me, I felt like I was really holding myself back for a while because, like, from going too hard. You guys, right now, I have the blessing of being able to do this full time. I know not everybody can do this, but for me, I've been wasting some of my time because I'm like, well, if I go too hard, then somebody may not be able to do it, like copy me or like duplicate me. And I'm like, but I am me. This is my business, my life. I can't think about what others are going to do or not do. And who knows what somebody's going to come in and do in your business. You can't put that on them. And I realized I was doing that. So I was holding myself back for other people and their comfort. And so I just went balls to the wall and I said, okay, weight loss is my jam. Mental health is my jam. And if something comes in my head where I'm like, ooh, that's a good post, or ooh, that'd be a good TikTok idea, I write it down, because that is something that I was not doing. I was not being in the flow enough where I was like remembering what I was even coming up with. And then you get to your TikTok and you're like, what do I do? I stopped worrying so much about the numbers coming out of it. Like, okay, I'm just going to do this because it's fun. Like, I enjoy helping people. So I'm going to put something out and it's going to be goofy and silly, and maybe it'll do well, maybe it won't. And usually it's doing well because people are seeing me and they're seeing the fun out of it. And if you're not having fun doing this, you guys, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like, I'm just being honest. Maybe some of you are just bored, or it's not fun anymore. Think about that. Maybe you're trying to do it somebody else's way, or maybe you've lost your way. Maybe you need to strategize and come up with a different way, but like, you should be having fun. And that's what I ultimately came down to. It's just, I'm just going to be myself 100%, go hard, and not worry so much about what other people are thinking or worrying about. Because guess what, guys, you're not the main character in anybody's movie except for your own. You're the only one who cares. Literally, you are just an extra in everybody's movie. And we all think we're just like everybody's like main character. And it's like, nobody cares except for us.
Yeah. So it's funny because I don't know what you had started out by saying, and I was like, oh, I want to say something. And then you literally said what I wanted to say. But really, like, if you are not having fun with this, then you need to do that self-reflection. Yeah. What happens a lot of times, somebody will ask me, they'll be like, all right, I want to do this full time. I'm quitting my job. And I immediately am like, Because here's what happens. You're used to, I work X amount of hours, I get X amount of money. Okay. That's what has been drilled into us forever.
Yeah.
And so on one hand, that's wonderful because you can know XYZ, what you're going to be able to take care of. Right. But on the other hand, you're being told exactly what you can take care of and what you can't. Here you have the ability to exceed that. Like you really have the ability to pay your worth and to be paid your worth. And sometimes when you're not making the money that you want to make, you feel like it reflects on your worth. It doesn't. It does not. A lot of times what happens is if you want to do this full time, or if you've made the decision to do this full time, or maybe you don't even want to do it full time, but you're like, I have to do this so many hours every week because I need to be able to support my family. I'm a single mom, whatever, right? Outside of my job. When you become so hard on yourself and you are not having the fun that you should be having in this business, people can see it. Yep. People can feel it. And it feels like it's being like, it has to be done. You know what I mean? It feels forced and people see it, they feel it. When they feel like you're having fun, you could use the same words and just say the exact same thing in a different way and get completely different results, which is a great reminder of using voice memos. Just so
yes.
But you could say the exact same script to someone. And again, we don't really want to script things, but I'm saying you could say the exact same thing to someone. And depending on the mood that you're in, it will be taking a completely different way each time, depending on how you feel. So it's very, very, very important that you take the time for self-development and you take the time for self-reflection. And that is something that we do not do enough of in this, in the way that this world is right now. We do not do enough self-reflection. You have to be able to be your worst critic and your best cheerleader at the same exact time. And we struggle with that because again, it's been pounding and instilled in us through elementary, middle, high school, and even into college that you have to work for somebody, you have to do this amount of stuff, you have to get this done. And then that just becomes part of who you are and having to do these things. Have fun with this, guys. Reflect on who you are and how you want to run your business and how you want to get there. Take pieces of people. We have these hustles so that you can see other people that you may have saw Dawn and you're like, oh, she's a total badass. And then she just literally told you that she was struggling last week. She just told you she was having a really hard time. I want you guys to know that happens to all of us. There are days when I don't want to get out of bed, and it's okay to feel that way, but you have to muster up the courage to go harder. Remember your why and remember that you're a freaking badass and you can do this. So rock stars, thank you, Dawn. It's time for you to go out and rock your business.
Bye, guys.